Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Leo, Sun, Moon or Rising, and it's the weekly reading for the week of April 29 to May the 5th. So your cards this week, Leo, energies leaving, completing or transitioning. You have the Two of Pentacles. Focus energies this week, you have Death, clarified with the Knight of Swords, and coming in towards the end of the week, you have the Moon, clarified with the King of Swords. So this is quite an interesting reading here, Leo, and I'm really going to work quite intuitively with this one because I feel like I know what's going on here. The words that I'm hearing is spiritual growing up. So I feel like what's been sort of the recent situation or the energy that you've been in probably for some time now is a sense of juggling. You can see that indicated there by the Two of Pentacles. You know, he's the balancer and the juggler. You know, often, you know, this card is read as juggling priorities, but I feel like in the context of this spread, you have been juggling two sides of yourself. And the two sides of yourself that you've been juggling is really Knight of Swords and King of Swords energy. So the Knight of Swords, you may know, is that kind of fast, hasty kind of energy, that sort of, you know, all in, quick communication, sometimes saying things that you may not really mean, or, you know, jumping in too quickly without thinking about it. Yeah, sort of like a less grounded, it's obviously, these are both air energies and quite sort of intellectual, but not necessarily always grounded. So there's that side of yourself, which we could say is the, you know, the younger or the less mature side of yourself. And then you also have this very deeply mature and grounded king energy that's very intellectual and clear thinking and sees the truth and, you know, makes clear decisions. And I feel like for a while you've been moving between these sides of yourself and potentially feeling out of balance. So what we really want to do is, you know, integrate those or go through that period of spiritual growing up, so moving from our Knight of Swords energy into our King of Swords power. And I feel that that is what's going to call you this week through the energy of the Death card. So the Death card is your focus energy this week, and the Death card is all about spiritual alchemical transformation, which fits in very nicely here. So with the Death card, you know, it's really about taking that transition and surrendering to an alchemical change. So surrendering, you know, to that, you know, that energy that you've been coming out of, that sort of hasty, you know, less mature energy. And it's time to surrender to that and grow and transform into your power, into your King of Swords energy. So with when the Death card comes in, there's that temptation to want to turn away from it and sort of not look it in the eye, because it's easier to avoid death or to, you know, turn the opposite direction. But what we really need to do is embrace it, because, you know, letting parts of ourselves fall away or essentially, you know, metaphorically die is how we actually transform and evolve and grow and ascend spiritually, which is our evolutionary purpose. So that's what that's asking you to do this week, guys. It's, you know, it sounds a bit deep, but yeah, I really feel it's asking you to let go of that sort of energy, that less mature energy, and really move into your power. It's beautiful. It's ascension. It's that spiritual growing up, and it's time for you to go through that process. So you really need to embrace that. So the message with the Death card is to not be attached to anything, to surrender and let go. You might feel a sense of grief, you know, you're sort of letting a part of yourself go, and you're really making that commitment to move into your power. But it is time, and it is you know, it's a karmic cleansing as well. You know, it's really you moving into another developmental stage. And it's beautiful, because, you know, when you move into another developmental stage, that's when you can, you know, reap even higher rewards from that. So coming in towards the end of the week, we have the Moon card, and, you know, we have the King of Swords energy here. So I feel like towards the end of the week, you're going to start sort of, you know, you've kind of accepted and moved on from this energy, and you're starting to embrace this new you. You're starting to embrace this King of Swords energy. And the King of Swords energy, so we've talked about him as being it's an intellectual power. It's a power of authority, of clear thinking, of truth, that really grounded, mature energy. And I feel like with the moon card here, there's a few messages. So the moon card is asking you to also mix that very intellectual energy with your intuitive energy. So, the moon is a reminder to follow your instincts and actually to blend those two energies together, because that's when you get the best maturity, when you're operating from both your intellect and your intuition. And that illuminates your path. It's going to illuminate, the next phase of your life. The moon can also speak of disillusionment and things not sort of being as they seem. So what I think this is saying to you is that once you kind of embrace this transition into your King of Swords energy using intellect and intuition, that then you no longer will be stuck in that energy of disillusionment, and you'll be able to discern situations and see them as they're meant to be. So it's really going to heighten your sensitivity to navigate your way through situations moving forward in your life. So what an interesting, beautiful reading. It's your spiritual growing up this week. It's a big transformation for you. It's an internal journey. There's a part of yourself that is falling away for you to be able to move into a much more powerful center. You're moving into, I see like a control room, a control room that brings together your great Leo intellect with your instinctual intuition. And from that control room, your path will be navigated and you'll be able to move forward in your life in a much more powerful way. So that's your reading this week, Leo. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if it resonated for you, keeping in mind readings won't resonate for everyone, but they will for those they're meant to. And we'll see you for another reading next week.